Hey, what's going on, everybody? You're watching DualShockers TV on DualShockers.com. And no, you're not. Your eyes aren't playing tricks on you. We're here in this beautiful, lush garden at Shop Studios, checking out Final Fantasy XIII: Lightning Returns. The final installment, Lightning Story, is going to come to some type of conclusion. Something good or bad is going to happen to her. It's yet to be determined. But this is the first time that media has got to get hands-on and playable with this installment of the game from TGS. We actually got a chance to play what we call the Wildlands. And I got to tell you, I had reservations coming into the game. There's been a lot of talk about this title with the different outfits and, you know, how you could change the hat and the costume and this and that. And to me, it seemed a little silly, but once you start getting hands-on with it, it starts making sense. And I'll talk about that a little bit. There's a lot of customization within the game. The battle system has almost been completely redone. It's something that we've never seen before in a Final Fantasy game, period. So they've moved away from the tried and true JRPG style and gone to a more fast-paced action style battle scheme. And at first I was kind of comparing it to a Monster Hunter Online, but it still has a lot more of a technical and more of a strategic view to it. So you get to control what they call schematas. I started with what we call the Savior, Dragoon, and Black Mage. I also had a chance to check out the Red Mage, the Heartstealer, Nocturne, Crimson Blossom, and the Splendid Admiral. And yes, they all sound kind of nutty and they're different jobs, but each one of those schematas, or job classes as I'm calling them, give you different abilities. And you have the ability to fight in a battle with enemies and change up to 3 of those schematas. And that, what it'll let you do is so with obviously the Mage will give you DPS, so you get fire, ice. The Dragoon will give you the lance, and you get to jump into the air and knock down enemies. But aside from having all of that, within the game and the battle sequences, you also have the costumes. And the costumes are not only cosmetic, they actually have different attributes that are associated with them. So, you know, you can have the Red Mage hat on a Black Mage, which will give them a different stat boost and a different set of skills, if you will, which, of course, you can level your skills in the schemata as well. So a lot of different things you can do. Let's say you have your Dragoon and you don't like the color choice, you can go down and customize the color choice of the leather padding, the collar. It gets as ridiculous as we could change the color of the panties on one of the characters, and that's not an over exaggeration. We actually did that. You know, it's very impressive. So really full customization. First time I got onto it, I try to treat it as a button masher, and it's not. It's not a button masher by any stretch of the imagination. You really need to strategize what you're going to do and what enemies you're fighting and what they're weak against, what they're strong against. And of course, there's a story in there. There's beautiful scenery in there for this gen that's kind of ending. All of the cutscenes are skippable, so if you're that guy that just doesn't care about the story, you can skip through it. Although I guess at this point wouldn't make too much sense since it's the conclusion of the story. The voice acting is all the original guys from 13, so you're getting all that cast and crew back into this title to kind of finish up everything. Things that are in there that you're used to, of course, you get experience points, you get guild, you get items. Because of the battle system the way it is, it's kind of you can sneak up on enemies, so enemies are on screen. You'll actually walk up to them, you'll see them in the distance, you'll see a group of enemies, and you can either choose to run away from them or choose to confront them, and then depending on how you confront them, you get bonuses. So let's say you sneak up on them or you attack them before they see you, you get to start that portion of the fight with them having 10% less health. So there's little things that you can, again, strategize and do. So again, sneaking up on those enemies. And it's pretty interesting. I mean, from what I saw hands-on, it's frenetic with strategy built in. It's something that's totally different. I actually wasn't a fan until I played it, and I gotta say it's very impressive. and it all takes the span of 13 days. So there's 13 days till the end of the world. You're Lightning, so you have 13 days to kind of figure it out. So it's a little bit opposite of the Ring. Instead of 7 days, you got 13. But look for this title to be very interesting. You know, people are focusing on I think a little bit too much on the costume side, when the battle side I think is really where it's at. And once people get their hands on it, I think it's going to make a lot of sense for them. But stay tuned. We're going to talk to a couple developers as well about more of the battles and kind of what their thought process was. So these were my impressions. I hope you guys like them. We're out.